Come on.
Sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Conversations with my cuz. It is me, your girl Michelle with the one L.
And I am Shayla Shay.
And I am Brother Love, DJ Big Ra. What's going on, ladies?
What's going on with
What's
you?
happening?
Ain't
What's
nothing.
Happy
happening?
Sunday. Happy
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday, everybody.
What's going on? How was y'all weekend? How was y'all week?
What was I doing? Running
It was
these
good.
streets?
I
Yeah, I was running.
worked. I was out today getting some groceries and things, and I was super excited because I found a seeded watermelon for $6.99.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm
All right.
excited for you.
I'm,
You're
I guess
winning.
I'm excited for you too.
Thank you very much.
You're
Y'all don't
Whatever.
winning.
understand
You're
how
winning.
hard it is to find a seeded watermelon. I went to a place on Saturday and it was like $20. I said, "Oh, I know you lying." And I walked in
$20.
$20 for a freaking watermelon.
So let me ask you a
No.
question. Being that you want to start early in the show, what is the difference between a seeded watermelon and a
Well,
seedless watermelon? I'm just saying, because I
Share.
didn't eat either or.
I'm going to tell you what the difference is supposed to be. A seeded watermelon is actually a real watermelon. The ones without seeds, they say are hybrid.
Oh,
They're
here we go with that.
manufactured or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So, genetically modified GMOs.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what that's about.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
hey, Vicky. Exactly. Seedless is manufactured. Seeded is not. It is from the earth.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Healthy living does cost money, but not $20 for a watermelon. You can miss me with all of that.
Like
Girl,
like reefer from the earth. Same thing.
yeah, there's a truck out here by me that sells seeded watermelons, and they're not expensive. So they're not
I
trying to
would pay
rob
$10,
you.
but I wasn't paying $20 for a watermelon. I listen. That sucker would have had to have legs and walk to my car.
Yeah,
If
I get
I
it.
was damned,
I
I
get
don't
it.
think so. I think they were trying to rob people because come on. And then I went to the store today and it was $6.99. Come on, I was like, oh, I
Supply
got
and
two.
demand. Supply and demand. That's
And it's
all it
so
is.
hard to find them, and that's the crazy part because all I'm seeing on my timeline is people like, oh, I found a watermelon. Everybody's excited about it. Everybody's
Hey,
excited.
listen.
What else is happening? I did a Harlem hop this weekend with some of my coworkers that aren't from Harlem. So we just went out to a whole bunch of little spots out here, had a ball. It's been a minute since I've been in the street, like hanging out and whatever. But
Right.
it's always the same type of like super chill vibe that you get from in Harlem that is just dope. Like everybody's just kind of kicking it. You just, you meet people. It's real easy conversation. It's music everywhere. The food was really good. So, child, I was so ready to go home though. And oh my goodness, it was like I'm on water. Like I'm so
Nice.
ready. But it was a good
Nice.
time. Yeah.
Good.
Well,
I got
listen.
to make an announcement really quick though before we move. Yeah, I just want people to know I'm actually not a Yankees fan. So, okay, just want to
Oh,
Tell
you're
say
a
us.
that.
hater. You're a
Mets all
hater.
day.
But
I just got
anyway,
to
All day.
right here. Right here.
Mets
You
all
see,
day.
You're
Mets
not
all
an
day.
unfan, right? Say it's not like we're against the Yankees. It's
Right.
just
I'm just
I have
not
to
a
choose
fan.
Mets first, Yankees
My
second.
father is probably rolling over and is like, I can't believe she has the hat on. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm
Say
sorry.
no.
I'm sorry, Dad.
but Shay, I was just sitting here laughing. You was taking people Harlem hopping. You changed people's lives when you did that because once we start coming uptown, we became men.
Yeah,
It was a complete conversion. The man on the couch know what I'm talking
I
about.
know, I know. It's a different vibe. It's a whole
Is
different
it-
thing that happens to
We
you out here.
we grew up in 15 minutes.
Hanging out on 125th Street. Yes, you did.
Oh man, it was
It
something
was
totally
42nd
different.
Street for me, though.
Uh,
Yeah, that's
42nd
something
Street was a
else.
whole different animal
Back
back
then,
in the
we
day.
used to have no peep shows and a lot of sex shops and all kind of crazy, boy. I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed. I was
Yeah,
sneaking
I
into the
wasn't in Harlem though growing up. I didn't start coming to Harlem until y'all moved there.
I
right.
told you she changed your life too. You just don't want
Yes.
to admit it. But yeah, weekend was
Shout
good for
out to
me.
Harlem.
Yeah, shout out to Harlem. I just got in. I was in Alabama last week. So the Southern Soul concert. It's pretty amazing. It was really, really
Nice.
pretty amazing. It's something really, really good to watch. I'll
Mhm.
be out in 4th of July weekend. Again, shout out to Mr. Campbell and their crew. But
Okay.
it's a whole nother vibe. It's a
And
whole
that's
nother
what's the
vibe.
beauty of it, right? And this is why it's important to get out and get into other people's cities and kind
Yes,
of see how
Yeah.
people are taking it, because you think you killing it, you don't realize that they're killing it from a whole different angle,
a
and that
whole
it's
nother
super
perspective.
dope. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
a whole nother
totally get
perspective.
Agreed.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really,
Totally.
really good experience. But yeah, so we enjoyed ourselves, and I'll be back out there July 4th weekend. So what
Okay.
else is up, ladies?
Nice. Well, you know what's trending right now is that DC Young Fly. If you guys don't know, he's a comedian. He was on Wild 'N Out. He's on 85 South, that show with a couple of other comedians. His children's mother passed away at the age of 32, allegedly from a
Wow.
mommy makeover. That's what they're saying, but no one has actually confirmed it. They said, I read
Yeah.
something today that they said they found her unresponsive in a hotel room in Miami, but that she had been posting that she was going to have the surgery, but now that post was taken down off of the doctor site that
Mm,
she was going to have the surgery from. So he had posted up, so now it's not there. So we don't know what happened, but she's passed away. She left 3 young children,
that's so sad.
really young. I think they
Really
all under
sorry.
like maybe under 7,
Oh gosh.
all under 7. Yeah, and it's a sad thing, really sad. And if it has anything to do with um, cosmetic surgery, that stuff is killing people.
Yeah, it's killed a few people, right? Because it's not always going to work out, unfortunately. I understand, I guess, to some degree, the mindset, right? Because if she's 32 and she already has 3 kids under
Right.
7, which means that she had those kids back to back. And that, we know what one child will do to your body. So to have them like that, I could understand the desire to have it done, considering the competition and the fact that she's out in social media and a whole lot of people, the criticism, etc., could
And
put you
that's
in
the
a
sad
place
part.
where you want to, show up and have all of that together, because God forbid you don't, right? If you don't, then that affects how they treat you in the world, even that you don't
That's
get
the
an
sad part,
But
though. But
but
authentic.
it's
with the surgery, like I said, rest in peace to his child's mother. But with these surgeries, is like I'm really kind of not feeling it. It's young girls that are getting it now. We're talking about 22, 23. And the thing with this surgery is, from a man's point of view, like, it's either you get it done completely or you don't do it at all. Like,
Everything.
like for instance, Ronald Isley always said he had a saying. He said, that ass is so fat, I can see it from the front. And what he meant by that is the shape of the woman when she's coming. You could tell. Nowadays, you see these women with straight hips, and then they walk past you and got these big old asses. It doesn't even look right.
The legs be skinny.
The legs be skinny and the ass is 2 blocks down the street, and it just doesn't. It does. It looks like something's wrong. So if you do the ass, do the hips, you know what I'm saying? Put the ensemble together. You just can't get one part done. Or you do the boobs and don't do the belly. You understand what I'm saying? You're walking around looking like Pootie do. You
I
know?
say, I say work out. Now I know there
Well,
are some things that you might need a little nip and tuck here and there, but if you're doing it because you feel awful about yourself because of what everyone is saying, then you might want to work on your mental first before you go do that. Because even if you go and have these surgeries and stuff and your mental is not right, you're still going to be affected. So now you're more, and I get it, being a celebrity in a the eye of the media, they can be really cruel to you because they go in on these blogs on these people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Tiny from Escape, she had that, and she was looking horrible.
Well,
When
again, the lips was done, and the face around the lips wasn't
she
done.
did the face, but
That's
we're talking about her bottom part where Bill Bellamy said it looked like two meatballs on a chopstick.
Oh God.
but
Sorry,
what
Ooh,
that's
but
that's
terrible.
an
not even.
example of not
But
getting
the thing
everything
is,
done.
it's not even about the celebrities. It's just about the everyday people are looking at getting it done. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I get it. You want, like you said, you want a little lift here. You know what I'm saying? You want the boobs to sit up on the platter. I get it. But at the same time, is sometimes it's not all needed because you could see it. Like I was in a strip club one night, and that's all you saw. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes,
Not
I want to
real.
see, yeah, I want to see something a little natural. I want to see a little dent here, a dent on the side. You know what I'm saying? Little cheese on the bottom. A little
A little
something.
cheese.
Cottage cheese.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Cottage cheese. You want to make it look a little natural. You sitting out here walking around like everybody just looking like Chief J Strongbow now. I mean, come on. It's it's just got to
they're
stop.
all
It's
You got to really
gotten
get
out
better.
of hand. It's
And it
out of
doesn't
control.
turn me on as a man at all, to be
It's
honest
so
with you.
accessible now too. It seemed like before you had to really have a whole lot of money. Now anybody could go. They got the payment plans,
Oh hell yeah, 3 grand. You go see
financing it.
3 grand and a 3 night stay in the hotel. Mr. Miami got you.
You can get a ass financed.
down
Yeah.
the block, down the block from me on
Well,
100.
I
Biggest.
don't mind finance a little ass now.
We're not
Don't
talking
tell me
about the way.
that.
We're
Not
not
that
talking
kind,
about
Rob.
that way. Okay.
Where do I
Not
apply?
not that way.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Not
I
that. I mean,
wait.
we're making jokes about it, but it's serious. And if she did go through with the surgery and die from complications, that's just horrible
Yeah.
because them three little
Yeah.
kids have no mother, and now this man has to pick up the pieces and now deal with this whole.
Right.
So I mean, prayers go out to DC Young Fly and his family because it's just sad.
It really is.
A
And I'm
life
sorry to
lost for
hear it
real.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, definitely.
I am gonna change the tone, right? And ask,
Uh-huh.
do you know what time it is?
What time?
Let me ask my
Yeah, girl, you used to do that thing
no.
so good.
You know
Oh
what I'm
man.
saying? Anime, do your
Me, me,
job, anime.
me.
Do your job.
I'm gonna start off the conversation and I'm gonna let Rock, because I know we got a couple of things that we was talking about. But one of the things that popped up today and I saw and it was circulating as an open question was, should parents apologize to their children? Just overall, right? So when I thought about it, I was like, is it just for messing them up as a kid, or is it like in the moment? Because I know there's been some times when I wild out and then I found out I was wrong. My mother would double down, so my mother didn't apologize. She's like, you probably did something wrong anyway.
Mine didn't either. I do. I think we should. I've done it. I have done it. Maybe not so much after I whip their ass, but because you can't undo it.
You gotta go hard, right?
I'm sorry for beating you, but
This
maybe
gonna
not for
hurt
that.
you more than it hurts me.
Right, but I'm gonna beat that ass. So you about to get this. But but I do think that we should, because we can be wrong too, and we could do things that mess them up. As my kids have gotten older now, I have like apologized to them for some things that I probably know that might have jacked them up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now,
I have.
did you apologize when they brought it to you, or you just sat back and was like, that was wrong, and I just need to have a conversation?
No, it was me not contemplating, but what's the word I'm looking for? I just got tongue tied.
Reflecting.
Me reflecting and realizing that, okay, yeah, that might not have been the right. And even now, I apologize to my kids because I could be wrong.
Okay.
And I'm noticing that they do it, especially Tisha. Tisha apologized to me one day, and I was like, whoa, okay. But yes, I do think that parents should apologize to their children when they're wrong.
Okay.
What do y'all think? Rashay
Well,
sipping.
wow.
What you think?
I disagree.
Okay.
And why I disagree is because we make humans, right?
Surprise.
We're human.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
we're human. We make mistakes, right? So kind of exact. What I really do is tell my son is it's even like right now he's having an issue with picking up his grades, and he's really trying. And like I told him, you're human. You're gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes. As long as you try your best and feel that you did your best in the situation that you was in, we can't ask no more of you. That's the
Mhm.
same thing as being a parent. You understand what I'm saying? So at certain times, it's yeah, daddy, like my mom always told me, I was the best parent to you that I knew how to be.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Okay.
for me to really sometimes sit back and apologize to these kids, it's kind of like saying a lot of these kids right now feel like their parents owe them something, or it was a thing that you know you entitled because you did something wrong. No, I'm human. I made a mistake. That's why usually the older kid usually get mad at the younger kid because the younger
Mm.
kid got a fighting chance. You understand what I'm saying? Because you learn as you grow along and you learn from your mistakes. But I always tell my kids, I've been the best parent that I knew how to be, and we all make mistakes. Could I have done better? Yes.
I have a
Well,
question. I have a
right.
question really quick, Shay. I'm sorry. How do we teach our children accountability if we don't have any?
You did take accountability. I never said you didn't take accountability.
How? What's the
Because you took
accountability?
accountability, admitting that you made the mistake, but to say that you're blatantly sorry is something like, did we do something intentionally to hurt our child or do anything to our child? So to say sorry is like, nah, we made a mistake. It's a little different because you'll make your kid give your kid a sense of entitlement. So when they
Okay.
come back and say, "Oh, this I ain't got no job because of you," then you got to eat that.
Okay.
I know that's probably my mother's philosophy also, right? That she was working hard at it, and I turned out all right. It's like, look, stop acting like you were so damaged that I did so wrong. But I think from her point of view was more about not taking accountability for some of the things, right? Because as I got older, we had a relationship where I was able to say, there were certain things that you said and did that affected me greatly. And in that, right, it would be um excuses. Yeah, well, it happened because of blah blah blah, which isn't the same thing as an apology, but it helped me to kind of understand where it came from.
Right.
I, on
Right.
the other hand, as a parent, um, I tried to let them know that yeah, there's some things that I'm probably not doing right and probably didn't do right, and really this is my story. Like as they got older, I became more transparent about like some of the things that triggered me and some of the reasons why I handled things in particular ways, so that they would have an understanding where it came from too, and it doesn't have to necessarily be about them being wrong about certain things, or that there was a criticism on my part for towards them. But I know me and my brother had to apologize to the kids for Hurricane Sandy, because we sat in this house and we drank everything that was in here and lined them kids up on the couch and cussed them out one by one. And the next morning, we was both hanging our heads like, we sorry, we love y'all so much, but we cussed the kids out like, and you get on my nerves, and you with your damn grades, and you with the funky attitude, and let me tell you something else. Tag team them kids, boy. It was to the point where we had to calm each other down, like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
You
So
know
we
what? Even if there's no I'm sorry, I think being accountable for your mess ups is a big deal, a big thing. So even if you don't come out and say I'm sorry for that, at least be responsible enough to say, you know what? Yeah, I might have fucked you up a little bit.
a little bit.
You know
How
what
much
I'm
therapy?
saying?
How many sessions of therapy do you really
Right.
need?
So I'm just saying
One is
I'm
better.
going to be responsible for that. And you know what?
Yes.
The thing that I find that as you get older, you really don't like is transparency and honesty at who you are as a parent and as a person. And that's some of the things that parents try to keep so much from their kids and try to paint
That's
this
so true.
picture.
I
And my kids know exactly who daddy is.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
And
saying? Good,
they
bad,
know
or
now.
indifferent.
And I
You
won't
know,
even say that, to be honest. I ain't telling them everything.
no, but they just know
For my
you
story.
for not no, not telling them your life, but what I'm saying is that they know my kids know me for who I am, the type of person that I am, the lifestyle that I live, and everything else. Because my thing is that you don't want to look like a hypocrite when it comes to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a
do
lot of
as I
stuff
say, not as I do.
that I say. Well, no, I mean you can try it. It's a rough life I live, boy. But but really, it's some things that again, we're not perfect. And one thing about it, I feel like the kids respect you for who you are, but if they grow up and find out something else, it's like, you're a hypocrite. Like you did all of this. You understand what I'm saying? And it's really, really about really understanding and meeting these kids where they at. And
And so,
sometimes it's the mistakes that you made in life as well, and the
right.
things
And
that you
that's
go through.
what I was gonna say, is that when you are able to show vulnerability and saying that you make mistakes, sometimes you're afraid, sometimes you don't know, you give your children validity in their own feelings about that and still feel like it's okay. Because some
Right.
kids feel like, you don't want to say that you don't know the answer to certain things. And then that's where the growth stops, because God forbid you ain't got it, when the next
Right.
person does. Like, it can just be really taxing on a child when you give them this idea that they have to show up in the world perfectly in what they
Right.
do. So I get that with the grades. I was a mother that said, do the absolute best that you can. That's all I could ever ask of you.
Right.
As long as you're comfortable with where you are showing up in the world, then I'm good. I'm your cheerleader. So
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's the truth. That is the truth.
Shout out to the kids.
Shout
Shout
out to
out to
the
the
kids.
babies. They'll tear your ass up sometimes, though.
So
They'll
Ra,
get it,
I'm
man.
gonna throw this at you, because I know we
What's
was
up?
had this conversation a little bit earlier, and you were talking to me and Michelle about this whole dating up and down situation. So
Hmm.
who's gonna bring that to the table?
Yeah, I want to know how do we, how do y'all feel about men dating down? And now I think it's more cougars out there than it is actually men dating down. But then you could tell me, well, oh, when we was on the, because to start with the Puff situation. Shout out to Puff and his girl. Shout out to my girl. Hey, but so really, but it's more cougars out there. But then you could turn around and say, oh, this is different. So I find it kind of funny the way women are looking at it now.
Okay,
Hmm.
and so you're saying, how are women looking at it? As if
Women are
men
looking at it,
dating down?
before, right? It was looking down on men that date down. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, so
But now
opposed to the women now,
we're
they're
finding
dating
more
down.
women dating down.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a hell of cougars out there. Trust me.
There's a lot of cougars.
Yeah, it's a lot going on out there. So again,
I just think,
Them old men ain't got it.
okay, let's talk about it then. Let's get
No, I
into
don't
well,
know if they do. I
it.
date my age, kinda, sorta. Anyway, right,
right? Hello.
yeah. Anyway,
Where you at? Jerome, where you at?
I dated way younger than me, and it was hell, boy. It was hell. I'd never do it again. I'll never do it again.
Yeah,
It was
I've
not a
tried
good
to date
experience.
down, but it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
Because
it's just
9 times out of 10, when you date down, they look at you as either a sugar mama or that you just want to get your back blown out all the time.
Well,
mhm.
usually that's what it is. But the thing is that it's
You don't know what the
confused.
hell it
I
is.
I
I
call it
know.
no
Let's
no
leave that one
no.
Right.
alone.
I'm about to tell you. I'll call it confusing because you're the young girl she gets on your damn nerves because all the life problems you went through, you're listening to it all over again. Now you feel like you're talking to your child. But then you want to date your age and you probably date up a little bit, and they ain't perky as snappy as this one. So now it's a weight balance. So it's where you want to be in your life. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what, Ra? It annoys me when I think about the bodies on some of these old ass men and have the nerve to have requirements. Like, unless you got your shit snatched, don't come at me about what's not working.
Nope. And I'm one of them fat dudes
That's
too.
why
That's right. I totally admit it.
That's why they get down.
You got to be snappy.
Something nice too.
It's
right?
all right.
Come to you please don't get me started.
It's opinion though. It's opinion.
You
like what you like, right? You like what you like, right? So
that is why
so it ain't got to worry about what a man look like. Shit, it's about what he want.
Well, women who date down, in my opinion, oftentimes it is about finding somebody to fill in that void until they find the right thing. I don't think women date down with the objective of actually building something substantial. He's just like, an in between, the pause, somebody that a maintenance man to some degree. So they
especially if he's not coming with all the things that we want them to come with. You know what I mean?
Why can't you have a maintenance man that's your age?
Well,
he's gonna fit the
my age requires Viagra.
So now we get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Some of them in my age, they can't stay hard.
Oh, they got issues.
And they got issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, all kind of things going on. So the thing don't work like that no more. So we like, listen, we need a little.
All right. So again, so here we go. So you get your pipes blown out by the younger dude, but now when you're looking for love, you're looking for this boy.
We're looking for stability.
Right? You just take him. Is that what you say?
No. We're looking for love.
Come on, Grandpa.
I'm not dating. Okay, the lowest I'm gonna go right now in my life is probably 5 years.
That's about right.
Yeah, it's probably 5 years. I'm gonna be 55, so maybe I could go a little. Maybe 10.
You're lying.
Maybe 10. Maybe 10 years.
Put another 5 on it.
Let me
I'll go 10 because I'm almost 55. So
he would have to be at least in his 40s.
Yes.
Because I think that there's a level of maturity that is just not happening until then. Like, they got to live a little bit of life, have a few, situations go on to kind of settle them down into their manhood. So 40 to me is when they're grown enough to have a conversation.
Some.
Yeah, not all, of course.
But I'm gonna tell you why I really don't date down a lot, because you could make a baby. See, that's the problem.
What you about to get on these people TV and say? We know who you are.
You can make a baby. I'm just trying to tell you. You can make a baby with a young girl. Old woman, she ain't having that. She got a lock, a padlock. She got something up there. She gonna work it out. She ain't having no chillings. Trust me.
You're not gonna date down, but you will hump down.
Well, see, here we go again.
Just asking a question.
Not gonna do this.
I'm just asking a question.
See, they go that disclaimer.
It's the question.
What I'm trying to tell y'all is that dating down, you might mess around and make a baby. I asked you a question. One guy, don't worry about we talking in general. So what I'm telling you is that I know a guy, 51, that's having a baby. When I was out on vacation, I was told this dude was 55 and said, me and my lady's considering having another one. And I said, well, what the fuck you want to do that for? And so, again, dating down ain't good, because I don't want to go to the schoolhouse after I leave the Social Security office. That don't work for me.
Only if you're not looking for if you're looking for a good time.
That's what I think it's for. I don't
What,
think that
dating
there's
down?
anything substantial from that. I mean,
But men
and that's
see,
not to say that there aren't some relationships that can be sustained in that space, but for the most part, I think that whether it's guy or girl and you dating down, there's a certain level of like dependency that comes with it. It could be financial, it could be emotional, that you're just looking for somebody to fill a certain spot that is open in the time.
but see, here's a situation here, and this is a problem with a lot of men. They actually want to try to make this shit work with dating down.
with the younger ones.
And this is why men, you find men in older years making babies, like my man, the Godfather, my guy right there.
Who's
You
that?
know, Al Pacino there. He does say 88, what he 83?
He's
And,
82.
and there you go. There you go.
He got a baby on
Boom,
the way.
bing, bang, boom.
Well,
See
we
that
know
there?
it's still working.
And
So
was she 39?
I think a little
Was she
younger.
29?
I
29,
think early
right?
30s,
I
early
thought
30s.
something like
Well,
that. But yeah, look at that there. See, because he has to make it work. He knew what he was
Well, the
doing when he
sad part
shot that
about all
dart.
of it is that he may not make it to see the baby grow up.
But again, that's what I
yeah,
try to tell you. When you date
age.
down, you're gonna make a baby.
Well,
And not
Like
always.
I don't
Puff getting ready.
necessarily mean that.
Puff getting ready to make another baby too. Watch.
Well, he just had a baby.
He don't have no one.
Okay.
But it's if this perfectly listen, as long as you are not crossing over into the pedophile lane,
Oh
Woo,
Lord.
then love who you love.
Oh,
agreed.
Lord.
How much of that do you think comes from mommy and daddy issues?
I think a lot of it now, like with Rashe's point of view, it's some people are just looking to have some fun, so they go
Mhm.
down because their age group may not be appealing to them anymore. So they like, I don't want an
So
old
don't want to deal with their
broad
BS.
or old, I
Yes.
don't want an
Nah,
old broad or
nah,
old man.
Don't
nah,
nobody
no,
want that
no,
little thing.
no. What I
So they
said,
may just want it for the experience.
no. What I
Now
said
that part I
was
understand too.
Let her
right.
talk, Ron.
Go ahead.
Right, that part I understand too, because you might just be doing it for the experience of, or because you don't want to date your age, because again, like me and Shay, our age may come with some problems.
That
So
is
I
very
get that. So I get that. But there are some that are dating an older person because they are looking to fill a void that their mother or their father didn't, fill for them.
true. Hmm.
So they feel the
Or
need for attachment.
right, and even then, it doesn't necessarily have to be about age because you can date someone that from has the characteristics of your parent or the characteristics you wish that you had in that
Ooh.
parent, right? And because of that, you have this unhealthy dynamic where it becomes this relationship where you feel almost like, that person is um fatherly,
Right.
you
I
know?
watched this show called the Bell Collective. It comes on Fridays, and there's a couple on there. He's a lot older than her. She's younger, and he talks to her like he's her father.
Mm,
And she's, and her friends are like, why are you letting this man? She's like, that's my husband. I love my husband, but he also got a whole bunch of money too. But he
mm,
wants her to have a baby. She doesn't want to have a baby for him because she's like, she's afraid of her. She has abandonment issues. She named all of the things that she has that why she's afraid to actually have a baby with someone because she thinks he's going to leave her or so forth and so on. So for her, it sounds to me like she got with this man because of her issues with her father.
mm. Did she talk about the father relationship? Has
She
anybody
has talked
talked
about
about
her father relationship, and her father's relationship wasn't really good because he abandoned her, and who he was to her, she's looking for that in her husband. And now that
it?
he's super controlling, all the things that he is to her, she still don't want to leave because she has these abandonment issues. So
Interesting.
it does exist. It's a thing.
I think so.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think is like I said, sometimes I think, and this is date, we're talking about dating up now, not dating down.
Up.
We're not even
And
talking
that's what
about
we're
dating
talking
only.
about. Right. So the thing is like I said, sometimes when you're a little younger, and you date up, when you up ain't gonna be too far for me right now. But what I'm saying, when you're back,
I don't think
when
I'm
you
going up.
when you're back in your 20s and your 30s, so let's say you 25 and you dating somebody 30, 33, 30, it's an experience of being with a woman at a certain point in her life that when you're usually dating a woman in your 20s that is possibly younger than you. It's so many things going on with them. It's confusing. And then when you meet this older woman, she has it together. And I believe that's an attraction of its own for a younger guy. That's what I was saying. I don't think no mommy daddy issues will have to be there because it's an experience like, wow, it's like, damn, stability. You see what
Mhm.
stability is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sometimes it that's a turn on
I
when
get
you
it.
don't see it. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
That scenario
So
can absolutely work.
right,
It
that's
could
the scenario
absolutely
that
work.
I like about I see what men usually dating up as well.
So
But
when I
you
think
got to do
about
it in your 20s.
it though, I think about a 20-year-old young lady who is dating a man that's 45, right? And deciding to get into this full-fledged relationship. Young women in that type of scenario, there's some level of admiration because of the stability that comes from that type of situation. Because a man at 45,
Right.
emotionally, just the emotional maturity is attractive to, a woman of that young age. But there can be, in some cases, scenarios where that relationship is bonded because of the need to have this father figure type person in their life. And so they search for, like, you get women that don't date their age, they only date older men because of some of the things that they bring, and those qualities that come from having that father or parent in their life. Because you could really, I say father, but it could be mommy issues too that cause certain situations in grown-ups, right? That when we finally kind of deal with our crap, it's like my mother did a whole bunch of things to me that got me the way that I am, that has me dealing with my relationship in the way that I am and treating my man the way that I do because of the relationship that I had with my mother. So that happens as well, right?
And that
And
has nothing to do with even dating somebody older. That just could be affecting your relationship, period,
correct.
because of an
Well,
unhealthy
yeah.
dynamic with your parent.
Yeah. I believe. I definitely believe in that. I believe
Yeah.
sometimes, but sometimes you see. I also believe that it has to be a point where you take accountability for your own actions and say, "I'm not going to do what Daddy or Mommy did because it's not working for me."
Yeah, of
I
You
course
understand what I'm saying?
you
And
do
I
have to
think
do that.
I got at a point in my life because I was probably living a replica of of the late great John Croom. But sometimes it was like, my shoulders wasn't as big as his. So
Mhm.
my thing was I had to realize that I am who Ra is. You understand what I'm
get it.
saying? And the
Yeah.
way he handled things, I might not want to handle things that, but it took me to have understanding of who I am and who I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it is about self-awareness and being accountable and understanding that some of the things that you do, where it comes from. Because, some people don't realize it. It took me a long time to figure out that I had some issues with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had daddy issues. And it was like a light bulb went off one day and I was like, oh, wow, I'm
Right.
doing this because of this.
Right.
Or this person reminds me just as my father, so then I had to really take a long hard look at my relationship with my father and how it was affecting me in my relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and even how I always say how I parented, because we parent most times the way we were parented. You know what I
Right.
mean? So until we figure that out, we kind of have to change those things. So even though mommy daddy issues sounds like such a negative thing, but our relationship with our parents affect how we are as adults. Just
It
Right. It's
does.
a
It
blueprint for us, right?
it,
yeah,
And
it does.
oftentimes, I just wanted to make this point before you say what you were going to say, Rashe, is that sometimes when we are in traumatic situations, right? And thankfully, that's not our story. But there are people that grow up in these really trauma-filled
Right.
households with their parents or one parent or whatever the case might be. You develop defense mechanisms that help you function in the world, right? And that's what carries you through the muck and the mire to emerge from it with some semblance of, your sanity and what have you. And that thing, oftentimes, people will carry way longer than they need it. Right? Like it served you in the moment of your trauma to be that thing. You had to be rough. You had to take no shorts. You had to, be aggressive, whatever that thing was. You had to hustle. You could do all of those things. But then when you're out of it, people don't know how to take that armor off and allow themselves progression. And that's where I think there's a lot of growth that needs to happen sometimes. And people just don't realize that thing that you're carrying is an unhealthy.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right, and that's the other end of that. What I was saying, I wanted to say was, it took me to do a lot of soul searching into myself, therapy, um, talking my problems out, analyzing on how I grew up, analyzing why I got these situations going on, and then saying, you know what, at this point is, listen, I think I'm gonna, mommy and daddy. The best thing is like what Glow always said to me was, I did the best that I knew how to do, and take that and move on. And like, even with my son, everybody tells me how, they love my relationship with my kids, and especially my son, because I have that exact relationship with my son that I wanted to have with my father.
And that's a good thing, because
You
I was
understand
also
what I'm
reading
saying?
something like that we try to
Right.
parent our kids differently from the way that our parents parented us.
It took the second kid to get it right, though. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
that it took a lot of self analyzing and saying, "Yo." So, and sometimes even when I'm riding with him, I say to myself, I wish me and my dad had did this, or me and my dad could have spent this time doing that. So, like I said, we got to dig deeper into ourselves if
Definitely.
we see
Definitely.
ourselves with that same kind of behavior, because we
Agree.
still need our own identity.
We have to have that. And I also, what do you guys think about? I still see people or hear people, even like up in age, still blaming their parents for the stuff that they got going on
Get
in their life
over it.
now.
Well,
Get over it.
I don't want to just tell them to get over it, but I think they
You
need
too
to deal with it
old
though.
to
You got to
be
deal with it.
60 years old talking about my mama.
No, you're right. But those are the people who are not dealing with those issues, because it's like, if you still talking about, oh, my daddy did XYZ. Now, don't no. Listen, let me not say, because some people had some really horrific things happen to them from their parents, so it's hard for just to say get over it and move on.
Well,
But if you still talking about that time, you didn't get the toy you
come.
wanted, or you didn't get right, or you didn't get to go to the thing, or just whatever.
but here it is.
Mhm.
You have to, and I'm gonna look dead into the camera. Get help. Get help, because it's gonna affect your children. It's gonna affect your grandchildren. The
I
more you
agree.
hold that on, get help, because it affected things, and it affected me. It affected a lot of stuff going on, because then, God forbid, one leaves here, and you don't squash that, or you didn't hold, now you holding that burden. You understand?
You're
You
carrying that with
have to
you.
get
Sure.
help if you're in a later age. If you
Yeah.
can't get past
If
it.
you still
That's what
blaming
I
your
mean by get
parents,
over it.
Right.
if you're still blaming your parents for everything that's wrong in your life today, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. I mean, I really don't know what to say
think
about that.
for me, I think becoming a parent helped me to see my mother as a woman, and not just as my
Not just your
mother who
mother.
told me something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Once
I
I
think
had
we've had that
children,
conversation before, because we started to look at them as humans outside
right,
of being our parents
right,
and
like
their experiences, for sure.
exactly. I got to see her imperfections as a woman, and it was okay, right? And it's unfortunate that the children become victims of our shortcomings. But
Yeah.
again, it's that level of vulnerability of being able to say, I didn't know what I was doing, right? Or I was coming from it from a place of hurt, or I was stressed out because I didn't have certain things in place, whatever the case might be. And having those conversations, I think, becomes crucial. And it goes back to the whole accountability and apologizing, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be an apology, but I can remember having conversations with my mother being like, yo, that was wow. Like, why did, and her sitting back and being like, I'm gonna just be honest with you. This is what was happening. And I was like, all right, don't be honest with me no more, because this is crazy. Like, oh Lord, never mind. Because no chaser. You want to ask questions? You're grown up. You're gonna have to put the tape on your back.
Yeah, and I never got those conversations like from my dad or my mom. I never had those closure conversations. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I kind of had to deal with it on my own. And like you said, I had to look at them from a human's perspective as opposed to just not being my mother and my father, and recognize that I don't know the things that they might have gone through growing up or the experiences that they had with their own parents. I know my mother had some struggles. I know my dad had some struggles. So I had to look at it from that in order for me to heal myself from that. You know what I mean? Because it was affecting me a lot in my younger days.
Yeah. And I want to go ahead, Rob. You was gonna say something.
You know what's funny is, and I'm fortunate enough to have my mom still with me, and I was fortunate enough to have my dad up until I was almost 50. But the thing is, even with my mom now, the stuff that went left in our lives, we really sit back and laugh about it. Me and Tanya might be on a three-way and say, you know what, let's call grandma. Ma, you was a real abusive parent. What are y'all talking about? Y'all starting that again? Yeah, we just felt like, and it would be one big joke. But and again, that's because you did the work, and sometimes it's like when it comes around, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen with my kids too. You understand? Because it's starting to happen already.
I see it now too.
But but the thing is that when you're able to sit down and have conversations about that, it takes a lot of stress.
It does help. It helps.
Yeah, it does.
Because they're the people you have people whose parents refuse to take any accountability. What you talking about? I didn't do that. Imagine going to your parent and you say, this is what you did to me.
And I go, no, I didn't.
So now you basically telling me that my experience is wrong.
Yeah, you're delusional. I don't know.
Now you got to carry that.
I never did that. Go away.
Right. You know what's funny? I was just talking to a friend on the phone, and she was telling me something about her sister that was pretty disturbing, about how she acting crazy in the streets. And she said that her son came home from school and heard how his aunt was acting in the street from other children. And this is a 12-year-old boy.
That's sad.
It's a 12-year-old boy. That was deep. That was deep for me.
That's sad.
And she said, I can't even really say nothing to her because she'll go and spaz out on me and stuff like that. But that's crazy. That hit me like, wow, 12 years old. Your actions could really be heard by a 12-year-old.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you got to deal with that.
And you got to deal with
it. That's real talk.
But see, the great part about it is all my niece and nephew know, oh man, here come Uncle Rob. He coming. And I come when I come. So, they know what to expect.
If you can have those conversations with your parents now and they are receptive, like I'm the receptive parent. Come to me, let's sit down and have a conversation. You feel some type of way, let's talk about it.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not going to take away your experience. If that was your experience, then that was your experience. I am not going to tell you that it wasn't.
It ain't easy.
Also, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, I don't remember that, but okay.
You don't remember that. I was great.
Because the kids will tell me some stuff now. I'll be like, I did that.
Right. So that's funny. So when we talk about mommy daddy issues, how do y'all feel about a mama's boy?
About who? A mama's boy. Woo.
Let's talk about it.
I guess it depends on what that
Because
means. What
we're
does a
gonna
mama's
break
boy
that
mean?
down on
A
TV right
mama's
now.
boy.
We're
That
gonna
could
break this
be
mama's boy shit
that could
down
be
on TV.
damaging to a relationship because they mama is all in the relationship. They call the name mama for. And listen, I love a man that loves his mama.
Right.
I love a man that loves his mama. That is a huge turn on to me. I love a man that loves and respects his mama. But there has to be some boundaries when it comes to your mama's interference in our relationship. Because that's gonna be a problem if you got to call your mama every time we have an argument. Mama tell me she did, and then mama's telling you go. It can be a
Baby.
little bit too much. It can be a little bit too much.
Oh,
I
it's
love
not.
so I don't know about a mama's boy, say, but a man that loves his mama, I'm all for that. But if you
Well,
a
like
mama's boy,
I like a man that calls his mama every day. You can call
every
your
day,
mama every day,
Just
right? You
don't
can
talk about me.
okay. You could go grocery shopping. You could say me and mama going to the movies. I'm gonna take
right?
mama
I
take
don't got
mama.
nothing to do with that.
You can take care of your mama, but there has to be a line when it comes to our relationship.
To our relationship. Like
That
Rashay, I call him the prodigal son because everybody's like, oh, that's Glow, that's Glow. But he's somewhat a mama's boy, but he's not a mama's boy to the point where his mama is all in his relationship.
You know what it is, and this is why I brought that up. From the outside looking in, you would probably think I'm a mama's boy until you meet Glow. Then once you meet Glow, it'll turn it around. Like, because I be telling everybody, I said, listen, Glow ain't nobody's ordinary mama. You know what I'm saying? Glow a gangster. That's my people's. Like, yeah.
That's the homie.
You know, that's the homie. And that's where even with my dad, that was if I had, like I said, next to the man on the couch or something like that. If I could say I got two best friends, it'd be my mama and my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And that don't mean that, but see, she sets her own boundaries. And that's what I appreciate about her. Because I could say, yo, mom, she did this. As soon as she see her, hi, baby. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different kind of vibe. But I think that some people get caught up and say that certain men are mama's boys, but they're not looking at the whole relationship.
Yeah, you gotta look at the whole relationship. I mean, I can tell if I meet a mama's boy because mama is all in everything. Like she's in everything. And it's like, because sometimes the mothers don't know when to fall back either, especially if it's the only child and he's a son.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know how to step back and let that boy have a relationship. They are all in that relationship and think that they're supposed to be a part of every single thing that you got going on with your partner. And no, and then you got the woman sitting over here like, that's his mama, so I can't check his mama, but he needs to check his mama. And sometimes it's hard for them to do that because that is their mama and they love their mother so much. But their relationship sometimes can be a little challenging in the relationship with a man like that.
But here goes another question. I'm gonna say something Shay always told me. It's a famous saying. You not a woman, so you can't tell me how a woman thinks.
You can't.
Right? So my thing is, there's a saying, mama's kind of always right. So when you get that, when mom throws that 2 cents in, right? That 2 cents can turn into $1. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, from y'all as mothers and y'all dating and being in relationships, let's talk about it.
All right, I got something to say that.
Okay.
I got something to say that. From the outside and seeing my oldest son with girls, have I had little things to say? Like that little bitch is lying? I sure have. I sure have.
That's what I wanted to hear. So does that make him a mama's boy?
Because does it make him a mama's boy or does it make me observant? Like I'm seeing things and I'm going. So what I would like to do when I was with TJ, I would ask questions. So what about this? So what about that? You don't think that that's a little strange or whatever? And he would be like, nah, ma, I don't think so. But I'd be like, then I run this at him and I go, You don't think that little bitch is lying, huh? Okay, all right. Well, and then what happens? The little bitch is lying. Because you find out later on.
So now, right, but if he would have acted on it promptly, would that have made him have been the mama's boy?
So my mama said you lying.
If my mama said, right.
Look here, I got questions because I was talking to my mama.
Now that's when you have to be, because listen, if I give you a little bit of something, don't go back and say my mama said. Act like you found out.
But you know what?
That my mama's boy.
I found myself at 50. You know, I was talking to Glow the other day, right?
Let me tell you something. Don't no one want to hear you tell her that your mama said. Okay,
I'm just saying.
I don't want to hear that.
But I don't want to hear that.
But all right. So Shay, on your thing, from you being a woman, dating and in relationships, and being a mother of 2 boys, where's the boundary? Like, how does it work for you?
Okay, so my oldest son has been in a relationship for like 7 years now, right? And it has been the rockiest, tumultuous, loving each other one moment, getting ready to call the cops the next type of relationship. But I could see in my son that he's not done yet, right? So to not be the adversary, I'm a seed planter. And so I say things like, well, in my experience, I remember I had a friend that had a particular situation, or, there's a saying that goes, I throw little tidbits at him like that to say, like, it's okay for it not to work out. Like, sometimes it's all right to draw the line. Like, but I know it's going to happen when you tired and you done, but you don't have to be a doormat. I say things like that, as opposed to say things against her, because he's not the kind that talks about her in a negative way, no matter how bad the situation is. Like, he's just a nice guy in that way. So I can't turn around and be like, fuck her. Even though in my head I'm like, Lord, they need to break up. Like, I can't this thing because they're not healthy for each other. I'm like, y'all need to go away and live life, mature a little bit, and let the universe decide. But Lord, so I'm a
because we see things that they don't see. And plus, us being women, we kind of can see, or we know things. So you got to really tread lightly when it comes to that, because you don't want your kid to kind of pull away from you because you got something negative to say about their partner. Although you might, like Shay, she's a seed planter, which is good. Me, I'm going to ask questions and let him answer himself. I'm not going to tell him what I think. I'm going to get him to say it.
Well, see, that's what Glow do. And Glow be making me feel real stupid sometimes.
Because if she just come right in and go, you don't need to be with her. Are you going to listen? You're going to think, we don't know what she's talking about.
But I say all this to say, because now I'm talking to y'all as single ladies. It's a little true.
She's not single. I am.
I mean, well, women that's dating in relationships or whatever, but a woman into
single, not married, but yeah.
Right. Woman that y'all see, right? So when you meet these guys, it's a lot of truth what mom be saying in the background. Yeah. A lot of times it's no lie.
That's true, because we see things that y'all don't see because you're smitten.
Right.
And you're flipped by the boot.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but sometimes
it's a good thing to feel that way.
And when you are young and you're blinded by the cooch, you cannot see the things that we can see, because
I just want y'all to understand about when y'all use that word "mama's boy," because y'all got sons. So shout out to the mama's boys.
We're not mama's. We're not mama's boys. I mean, we're not. Our boys are not mama's boys.
No, not your boys. I didn't say your boys.
No. I know. But when TJ is, what I will say about TJ is that when he's down in the, when he's feeling low, he gonna call his mama.
He gonna call his mama. Yeah, my baby
call his mama.
And he should.
Right.
I'll take
He's
that
gonna call
phone
his
call.
mama.
I'll take
But when
that.
it comes to the matters of the heart and relationships, he doesn't really involve me in all of that.
Correct. And I don't interject.
Right.
You know,
You know what's funny about
Yeah,
my mom?
I think I gave him the jewels and tools already. And if there's
Yeah,
something missing, then I, may remind him of it. But I'm not
Right.
one
you
to
know,
feel like I still got to parent him. He's an adult.
Right.
you know what's
Exactly.
funny about my mom? She tells me, and I just had this conversation. She said, "You know, Rob, you 50 something years old, and now come on now. I want you to be happy, and I want to see you married. I want to see this." And I said, "Hey, Glow, you peeked me onto all the game already. You know what type of woman that's going to take?" I said, "This is your fault, with my mommy issues."
You don't blame mama. How dare you?
Now you want to build his mommy issues.
See, that's your mommy issue. You don't blame your mama.
You put me on again. Well, nigga, you ain't shit. Call Glow.
See, you can't blame Glow for it. You done made the choices. So no, it's not Glow's fault.
She beat me onto the game. So she says, "Oh, I can't wait to see you get married again and you settle down because you ain't 17 no more." Glow, you kind of put me on the game here. You know what I'm saying? Your game. I came from a house of 3 women. It's hard.
So you think that affects how you choose women?
I think what happens is with me, a lot of women, and again, calm down.
No.
Take a swallow.
Listen.
A lot of women have manipulative behavior. Y'all work how y'all work to make it work for y'all. And I get it. That's what women do. The problem is I was raised with 3 of them. So it's like, it just keeps coming up in my head. Well, it's just weird. So
let me ask you a question.
Glow peeked me on the game. She peeked me on to a lot of games.
Let me ask you a question. So being that you raised in a house with 3 women, your 2 sisters and your mom, do you think that could be hindering you? Because of what you watched them go through and some of the things that you've seen, so you just automatically have this thing that, okay, women do this. This is what they do. They're manipulative, like you said, and they got all these issues. But what if she's not doing that?
No. I'm not saying a woman's doing anything, but it's like it's all on timing. So the timing and everything else has to be right. You know what, women have a lot of power. It's a lot of power, and I don't even want to say it's a sexual thing. It's a lot of power that a woman holds. Mm-hmm. To me, it's up for a man to figure out where does that power and that strength fit into your life.
Agreed.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, and being raised with 3 women, I've seen how they can demonstrate their power. You understand? Okay. So a lot of the times is, at first when I was younger, these motherfuckers is crazy. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't feeling none of this shit. They crazy. I lived with them all my life. Coming back around, I understand. I understand the actions. I understand how a woman loves a man. I understand what she wants out of that man, how she handles that man. And it's up to a man to figure out if that's going to fit in his life at that time. For, like you say, are you going to be the dick in the jar dude? Are you going to be the dinner dude? Are you going to be the husband? Are you going to be the best friend? You understand? Say, are you going to be the boyfriend? Are you going to be the side nigga? It's a lot of, you have to figure out where you fit. You understand what I'm saying?
Can we go back? Wait a minute.
Side dude and stick in the jar. Is that the same thing?
Is that the same guy?
I don't know. I know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that you have to figure out.
Does that mean break it in case of an emergency?
You know what that dude is. Stop it.
Break the jar?
Stop it. Y'all got
I don't have one of those.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about it off. We'll talk about it off air.
Is that another topic?
But what I'm saying is that you have to really figure out as a man where you're going to be at in that relationship. And that's the power that a woman possesses, that a lot of us men, we get it wrong 99% of the time. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what understanding.
Yes, y'all
what
do.
women do. We do. We get it wrong, but it takes time. It takes understanding. It takes communication, and that's what ultimately living with them has taught me.
Okay.
Because y'all can start out
Positive
on love relationship, and a dude do something totally fucked up, and then you be that dick in the jar guy now. He could do it, but this ain't gonna work. You understand what I'm saying? So that clock can switch. So you got to, it's timing.
Okay.
The dick in the jar guy.
I think we should end on that note.
I think
I
we
done
should.
said a lot, right? I took y'all to school at night.
I think what you said, you
Well,
was on to something there.
Yeah, it's the first time I really felt like, yeah, go ahead, Rob.
First time in 3 years. You go, girl. Shout out to Shay.
You
Say
go.
don't
Shout
do
out
that
to
thing.
you.
Do that
out
thing
to
you do.
you.
You know what it was? It was my delivery tonight. See, I got y'all now. I've been listening to my man. I was reading a couple Iceberg Slim books and Bishop Magic Don Juan. So I'm figuring it out right now. You know what I'm saying? It's the delivery.
I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not even going to touch that at all. I'm not touching that one.
Well, if y'all like this show, check us out on Twitch, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, and UBU Radio. Conversations with my cuz.
Hey.
Catch the replay on Wednesday on UBU Radio. And as you guys know, we end every show with a quote. And that quote is, "There is no such thing as a perfect parent, so just be a real one." We will see you guys next week. Peace and love.
Peace.
Where's the guy?
Do
He's so
the
fired.
thing, Ronald.
Hey, Ronald.
Oh, you're fired.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.